With that, I'll welcome the audience, members of council, the administration. Go ahead.
All right, Mayor Cook,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Grove,
Present.
Councilman Bond. Here. Councilman Shammy. Councilwoman Wright.
Here.
Councilman Lindsay. Here. And Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Here.
With that, we'll have the invocation by Chief Trust.
Father, Lord, we thank you for the day, and we thank you for the beautiful weather, and we thank you for this meeting. We pray that you let thy perfect will and only thy will be done. Bless our troops, our first responders, and their families. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, I need the action on the minutes of the October the 6th meeting.
So moved.
Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston. Yes. Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond.
Yes.
Councilman Shammy.
With that, I have some communications. Let's start with Ms. Rittenhouse.
Well, good evening. Sasha Rittenhouse. I am a resident of New Carlisle, but Pike Township, New Carlisle. I'm also the Clark County Commissioner. And we're here today to talk about the 0.5% sales tax increase that will be on the ballot this fall in a couple weeks. And so we wanted to come and kind of present to you some of the information. I get the short, easy part, and then the sheriff will give you a lot more details, and his part's much more entertaining than mine. So get mine out of the way. But as you're aware, we have asked to increase our sales tax from 7.25% to 7.75%, so 0.5%. When the sales tax goes to the state, the county gets 1.5% back out of that. So we're asking basically for 2% back. And the reason we're asking for that is we would like to build a new public safety facility, which would include a new jail, and the sheriff will speak to some of the dynamics there. However, DLZ, the company that we hired to kind of give us an estimate, look at our community and all of the things, has estimated that cost to be $100 million, and that's hard and soft costs together. As a county commission, we cannot, we get very little property tax. We cannot collect income tax, so sales tax is our only option for this. So that's why we are looking for the 0.5%. We have applied for some state grants in the past, and we have not been successful in those because we don't have the land purchased and we don't have the funding source identified at this point. So if we can get this levy passed, we have the funding source identified. We're in the process of doing some due diligence on a property that we do have intent to purchase, providing everything works out on that. And that would potentially help us pull down some state funding. It's not guaranteed, but it certainly would be a lot more possible for that funding to come our way. However, that funding right now is $50 million for the entire state of Ohio. So all 88 counties battle for the same $50 million each year, and it's a very competitive grant. Hopefully some other funding streams come available as well, but that's the primary one that we've been focused on. The sheriff will do a great job highlighting the need for this and kind of how his deputies and corrections officers, what they deal with on a daily basis. And every dollar, every penny matters. All of us have to budget for our families, and every dollar does matter. So I'm not taking that lightly at all. However, I would like to kind of put it in perspective a little bit. What we're asking for is basically a $600 purchase would be an additional $3 in sales tax revenue. So, you know, feels relatively minimal given the investment that we can make into our community. And an advantage to sales tax is to people who just come through Clark County. I mean, we have I-70 that goes through Clark County. People that are driving through and stop at a gas station and purchase items, they're also going to contribute to this facility. So it would not be just Clark County alone that would be responsible for this. And the last thing that I'm going to leave you with is kind of the reason why I am so supportive of this attempt. April of 2024, my two daughters were driving to Global Impact STEM Academy on their way to school. A driver failed to stop at a stop sign and hit them and ended up totaling my daughter's truck. The driver was driving under suspension and uninsured. And that particular driver this was her 11th time committing basically that offense or very similar offenses. And it would be, I think, a good option if she could have spent some time in jail. She did not. She did have to go to court. She was cited. But I think, if we can make punishment mean something, that's valuable and a deterrent for future behaviors. Our law enforcement officers, our judges, our prosecutors, they do a great job, and we need to provide this bigger, better tool for them to help keep Clark County a safe place to work and live. So with that, I will turn it over to the sheriff, and then if you have any questions.
Question, sir?
Go ahead.
The 0.5% income tax you're requesting, and you say that'll be
Sales
on-
tax.
Or sales tax,
Yes.
I'm sorry. That'll be on November's ballot?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a life limit?
20 years. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, it's for 20 years. And the commission does have the opportunity to end it early. So if we get some additional funding, if other fundings come available, sales tax revenue increases naturally, we do have the ability to end it before the 20 years.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Good evening. So my portion of this is to talk a little bit about where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going with the new facility. So the current facility we're in was built in 1977, started in 1977, opened in 1980 as a result of a federal court order for the county commission administrator to comply with state law governing minimum jail standards. So the current facility is 92,000 square feet and was built at a cost of $8.2 million. If we were to face the same thing that they did back then, which is a possibility, it's not anything, thank goodness, that we are dealing with right now, but it is a possibility. If we received the same court order, the first thing we had to do is we'd have to vacate the jail. In order to comply with minimum jail standards, we couldn't keep people in there anymore because we have not passed minimum jail standards in 28 years that I've been here, at least not to my knowledge anyway. So in order to do that, the contracts that we have to move inmates out, it costs me $90 per day per inmate to take inmates and house them someplace else. To kind of put that in a little comparison dollar-wise, that would be $6,241,500 per year. Over the 3-year period of constructing a new jail, be $18,724,500. Like I said, that is not where we're at right now, thank goodness, but that could come at any time. All it takes is a lawsuit and a judge to say you have to comply with these standards. So the current facility was built as a 168-bed facility. It has 3 holding cells, 11 isolation cells, or medical cells. In the early 2000s, there was additional 24 beds that were added to the facility. The state of Ohio currently today recognizes the Clark County Jail as being able to hold 167 inmates. Today, our average daily population is 204. Now, the actual population today is not quite that high. It's in the 190s, but we go by average daily population because it fluctuates so much through the day. So the average daily population today is 204. So the reason the state of Ohio shows us as only being able to house 167 inmates is because of these minimum jail standards. I am required to comply with Ohio Administrative Code 5120, which says there's 176 minimum jail standards. When you operate a facility, they have to comply with these standards. The last year's inspection, we failed 14 of the 172 standards. In order to pass, you must pass them all. 10 out of the 14 had to do with the physical plant and the layout of the population of the jail. The other 4 were maintenance issues or policy and procedure stuff that's fixed fairly quickly. The only time that I am aware of the Clark County Jail, I know the only time the Clark County Jail has been under its population limit was during COVID when we were down in the 150s. When I came in 1997, 20 years after the jail was started, Clark County Jail was closed. We were only taking violent felonies, domestic violence, that sort of stuff. We were not taking lower end misdemeanors. So, what's that mean? Crime in Clark County, if you look at the crime statistics in Clark County, we have a crime problem in Clark County. Over the last 5 years, violent crime has gone up 128.5% in Clark County. Now, granted, a lot of that is inside Springfield, the city limits of Springfield, but that is still Clark County. So we have to look at that, and we're judged as a county as a whole, from every city to every county to every township. So violent crime is considered to be homicide, rape, robbery, aggravated assault. So 2019 to 2023 is that time frame, up 128.5%. Motor vehicle theft is up 69.5%. What's interesting is that it shows that misdemeanor theft and shoplifting is down 17.6%. Now, do any of us believe that
They're not
theft?
reporting it.
And that's exactly right. So when I started researching this, and I found that statistic, I went to Bechtel Avenue and I started asking people, do you think retail theft is down in your store? And they said, absolutely not. We just don't report it anymore because we know nothing's going to happen. So in 2024, the United States lost $45 billion in retail theft and fraud. $45 billion that you and I, taxpayers, have to account for. Because these retailers aren't taking that, they're not taking that hit, they're passing that on to the consumer. Just in the state of Ohio, in 2024, we lost $303 million in tax revenue, and sales tax revenue due to retail theft and fraud. $303 million just in Ohio. And that's not just that is just the taxes. That is the 7.25% that we see here in Clark County. So $303 million. The statistics show that we only catch shoplifters about 2% of the time. So the FBI says that, and I don't know why this is the way it is, but they said if you're a shoplifter, you get caught twice out of every 50 times you shoplift. Why that's not 1 out of every 25 is beyond me, but I'm not a statistics guy, but it's twice out of every 50. And I can tell you that from my recent research that the major retailers in Springfield, 25 to 27% of what they report to the Clark County Sheriff's Office 911 Center is retail theft. So if they're only reporting what they catch, and we're only catching people twice out of every 50 times they shoplift, and 25% of the calls for service we have there is shoplifting, how bad of a shoplifting problem do we have? And I can tell you that, how does this tie into the jail? Because I can't house shoplifters. If you get and they know it, they'll tell you, well, they're not going to do anything to me. The retailers know it. Well, we're not going to do anything. We don't report it because we know nothing's going to happen. They know that if I arrest somebody today for shoplifting, they're going to get ordered into court. They're going to go to court 24, 48 hours later, plead not guilty. 6, 8, 9 months down the road, they're going to take a plea deal or go to trial, get found guilty, and they're going to end up with community service. They're going to end up with a fine. They're going to end up with probation. And even if it's their 50th time, they more than likely will not see the inside of a jail cell here in Clark County because we just simply don't have the room. So why is that important? Because what we're doing when we ignore the lower end misdemeanors and the lower end felonies, the nonviolent felonies, nonviolent misdemeanors, is we're telling them as a society that we're okay with it. That we're okay that you go out and you steal $200 worth of stuff. And I'm telling you, these people aren't stealing things because they're trying to feed their family. You can't feed your family a DeWalt drill. They're stealing tools, they're stealing laundry detergent. Who goes into Walmart and Myers and sees everything locked up behind glass? That's not because they want to display it nicely. They do it because that's what people are stealing. These drug dealers will put out a shopping list and say, I need Tide Pods and I need laundry detergent, because they can sell it on Facebook Marketplace for pennies on the dollar and make twice as much money than if they sold the drugs directly for cash. So it's a big money laundering scheme. That's why everything that we deal with here is related to narcotics. So the theft that we see is related to narcotics, you know, and when we tell people that it's okay, and that's what we're telling people. When we don't hold them accountable for theft, we're telling them as a society that we're okay with it. We have to take a stand as a society and say we're done with it. Because like I said, we're inoculating these people who are committing these lower-end misdemeanors, these lower-end thefts, and we can't be surprised when it turns into 69% increase in auto theft. So they're not doing anything to me for this theft, so if I steal a car, they're not going to do anything to me. And then that turns into a smash and grab, and that turns into an armed confrontation with a homeowner of some sort. Now we end up with a shooting. We are developing felons, and we are developing violent crime in Clark County by ignoring the things that we can address. And the weakest link in this is the Clark County Jail. If we don't pay attention to rehabilitatable people when we have that opportunity, when they're in there for little things, then we can't be surprised when they come in for something big and we can't get through to them. So the Clark County Jail is set up for 167 inmates. That means I can do programming for 167 if I'm lucky. I have 2 classrooms and an office that we've developed in order to allow us to do programming. The recidivism rate in Clark County is 32.5%. What that means is 1/3 of the people sitting in the Clark County Jail right now will come back and see me at some time. And I believe the time frame is like 30 days. In the next 30 days, they'll come back and see me. That's disgusting. That 1/3 of the people are sitting in the jail right now will be back. The way we lower that is by trying to rehabilitate them while they're in our custody. We literally have them as a captive audience, and they want to be able to go to our programming when we have them there. We just don't have the capability right now. I have all kinds of things that are fighting for space inside my jail. Church, life skills, parenting classes, drug and alcohol rehab, GED classes. They're all trying to vie for the same thing. I've got 2 classrooms that I can put 15 people in. And the problem with it is we're housing the most violent people in Clark County. So we have to go and go, okay, well, you know, you don't get along with him, so I can't take you down there at the same time. So it's a big shell game of who we can take down and who we can't. I visited a jail in Massachusetts not too long ago. It was the Hamden County Jail in Springfield, Massachusetts. 4 times the size of Springfield, 2,500 beds. Their recidivism rate, 16%. Because they have a system, an incarceration system and a rehabilitation system that's based on programming. So when these inmates come in here, they don't just sit, they give them something to do. All right, so they try to turn them back out into the society and make them a better, more productive citizen than they were when we came in. We just don't have that capability in here. So we can't be surprised when we release somebody after their stint in jail and they go out and they do the exact same thing that brought them in the first place. Because what do? We put them down for a timeout, but we didn't correct the behavior. We're real good at the incarceration and we suck at rehabilitation. We need to focus better on rehabilitation. We can't do that without space. So we've got to have the space to do that. We have a jail that holds 167 inmates. It should hold 167 inmates. And we need capacity for a lot more. So the new jail that we're looking at is 140 to 130,000 square feet. I believe that's the dimensions. It may actually be bigger than that. Is it 130 to 140. 454 beds. So almost 3 times the amount of space. And it's built for programming. So every pod is going to have its own classrooms and focus on rehabilitation. We want to initiate what's called a medication assisted therapy program inside the jail. So people are coming into this jail addicted, all right, and we aren't paying attention to it the way we should. We're doing the best we can, but we don't have the facilities, we don't have a way to pay attention to that. And that's important, not only for their well-being, because if we don't pay attention to it, they go through withdrawals, they come back out, they try to use it at the same level that they did before they came in, they overdose and they die. But if we don't pay attention, we don't get them in some sort of alcohol or drug therapy of some sort, we can't be surprised when they come back and out and start using again and again and again. And the crime that we're seeing in Clark County is drug-driven. So we have to pay attention to that. We are feeding, as a society, we are telling these people that they're okay to, in a roundabout way, engage in drug trade. simply because we aren't paying attention to the lower end misdemeanors. The theft is what's feeding a lot of our drugs. I have guys and gals that go out on Route 4 and I-70 here that do direct drug interdiction, and you would be shocked to what they pull off the interstate every day that's coming right through the heart of Clark County. And we're only doing it for a few hours a day. We're missing so much because people know if you come to Clark County, you've got to do something bad to get locked up. We need to change that mindset. We as a society need to say, you know what, we've had enough. We've had enough. Clark County, as Springfield, is rated to be one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in the state of Ohio. We've got to change that attitude. We've got to change that mindset. But we can't do it without the assistance of the public. We can't do it without the backing of boards like yourself that says, you know what, we've had enough. We've had enough of letting the criminals and the wrongdoers in the society run the way they've been running. I've been here 28 years. That jail's been closed since the day we came in. All right. Imagine if we could take somebody who is impressionable their first time in jail and correct that behavior and never see them again. But instead we just sit them in a cell, we leave them sit there for 5, 10, 20 days, whatever it is, they get back out, and then we're stunned when they show back up at our doorstep 30 days later doing the same thing because we're locking them up, but we're not correcting the action. We can't do it alone. We have to do it with your help, and we have to do it with the help of the public. So we're asking for the 0.5% to help us get this accomplished. And with that, I'm sure there's a lot more. I could sit up here and talk for hours on this subject, but I would rather answer any questions that you might have because I'm sure there's got to be something that's come up.
Any questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Bond.
Thank you for coming, first of all.
Yes, sir.
And bringing those statistics and things to us. Because, Clark County does have a real crime problem. So you said it costs $90 a day to send inmates somewhere else. What does it cost you to?
I don't know the exact dollar amount, but my estimate has been somewhere around $43 to $46 per inmate per day. So less than half.
Okay.
So.
And then what is your goal or maybe expectation if the citizens do give you this missing piece that you need in your toolbox to take care of this? What would be your goal or expectation of your crime rate coming down or having that?
I don't expect that to change overnight because we have to change the attitude. We have to change people. But we did the exact same thing similar at the Clark County Fair this year. For the last several years, the Clark County Fair has been out of control. We've had kids fighting. We've had a bunch of problems. We've had guns and knives out there. Well, I made a commitment that this year we weren't going to deal with that. So we had a fight the very first day. Those 3 young ladies went to jail. And that news spread fast, and we didn't have another problem the rest of the week. So that's what it takes, is for us to take a stand and say, this is where the line is drawn, and if you cross it, we are going to lock you up. The judges are going to, we've got judges and prosecutors and law enforcement that are just begging to do their job, but we've got to give them the tools to do it. We've got to draw that line in the sand and say, this is where the line is, and if you cross it, you're going to have hell to pay for it. We're going to lock you up. We're going to hold you accountable. And it'll take time. It takes time to change that mindset. It takes time to get that message across. But I can tell you it's been done. The Preble County Sheriff, when he took office, had a huge theft problem inside Preble County. He takes every theft that comes to his jail. Guess what they don't have anymore? People know. Word travels fast. If you come to Clark County, you're going to go to jail. And that's the message I want to send to everybody. If you come to Clark County and you act a fool, you're going to go to jail. I just got to have the room to do it. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I was curious, I know you're planning on tearing down the jail downtown. Have you considered keeping it and rearranging it so that it might serve some purpose?
So I can't speak to anything outside, but on the correctional side of it,
Right.
that jail, we had DLZ look at that. So DLZ did an estimate of whether or not we should renovate the jail or whether or not, if we renovated the jail, or if we wanted to keep it as like a temporary holding facility, it still has to pass minimum jail standards. So we would probably have to put an estimated probably $50 to $60 million into that jail to get it to where it would meet minimum jail standards. And the amount of capacity would probably, I'm guessing, drop to maybe 100 to 120 beds. So we would lose space, and it would cost quite a bit in order to renovate it. Now, outside of other uses because of that, I don't know. That would ultimately be up to the commission what they want to do with it. I could tell you that there's a lot of deterioration, structural deterioration that would need to be remedied. Some of the pillars are starting to crack and crumble. We've got some walls that need some severe attention. I know it needs a new roof. So whatever we do with that facility, if we decide to keep it, it's going to take quite a bit of dollars to get it to where it's useful and efficient again.
Okay, yeah. Understand.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for coming and presenting all of this information to us.
Thank you.
I love your heart for our community.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No one else?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You say short.
I do not have anything.
You don't have anything.
Said it all. Nobody
Great
likes to
job.
follow the sheriff. I have.
All right, since we've exhausted that section, you want to go ahead with your report, Mr. Hall?
Well, I was going to ask you, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, members of the public. We obviously have an unusual amount of people here, which we love. But I have a feeling that majority of them have some things that they would like to say. So I think in order,
With that end of it.
well, I guess to stay legal, or just for efficiency standpoint, I can just say that our departmental reports are attached. And if you guys have any questions, I got my entire executive staff here at the table. Or we can break rules of council. We can do comments from the public and talk that out, and then do the departmental reports at the end. It's up to you.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
move to break rules of council.
Councilwoman Wright,
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yes.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
and Councilman Shammy.
With that, we'll move to the audience participation. If you'd like to comment, come up to the podium, state your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
Say nobody wants to talk? And they're all here?
Nobody wants to.
Passionate, but we don't want to talk in front of people. So you said my name and my address.
Yes.
My name is Missy Carnes. I live at 514 Glen Avenue, New Carlisle. I've lived in New Carlisle my whole life. I love New Carlisle. I work in New Carlisle, and I love the New Carlisle pool. That's what we're all here for today. I know a lot of people are going to talk, so I'm going to try not to comment on what I think other people are going to say, and I'll try and be fast. I want to talk about how the pool offers swim lessons. Accidental drowning is the #1 cause of death for children 14 and under. And if we don't have the New Carlisle pool, parents may not drive 15 or 20 minutes to get their kids to lessons at Tip City or Fairborn or Huber. My kids have taken lessons as soon as they learned to swim and were old enough. They started on the swim team for summer swim. It's a great program. It offers kids structure, pride, teamwork, and the opportunity to compete. It provides kids an hour and a half of exercise 5 days a week. For some of those kids in the summer, that's the only exercise they get. It starts at 9:30, so it gets them out of bed. For most kids, their days start at noon, and they're on unlimited screen time. If we don't have a place to practice, then we're not going to have a swim team. It also impacts our surrounding communities in the swim league. They depend on New Carlisle to host the meets and also for us to compete. It also provides employment to high school students. So the Tecumseh Middle School, 6th and 7th grade, that's where they go for their field trip every year. The PTO pays for transportation, so it needs to be close. And if, I don't know where they would go for that type of expense. There's not really many places to go within 10 minutes. Our city is growing. There's going to be 2 new developments. Their HOAs do not allow for private backyard pools. that's going to be more pool passes purchased, more people coming. And I know the pool's expensive. And I would like 2026 to be the year that we try a management partnership. Like, I think there's Safe Swim and Dayton Management, because we have lots of reports for how an average person manages the pool. These people, they're experts. That's their business. That's what they do. They manage pools. I would like to use them for 2026, and you guys can continue thinking on the future of the pool, but we need the pool. Thank you.
My name is Emily Seymour. I live at 700 Westlake Avenue here in New Carlisle, and I've lived here for 16 years on Lake Avenue. And pretty much every summer since I've been here, we've gotten a pool pass or at least visited multiple times. Some of the key points that I kind of want to point out with the pool is that it provides a public health and safety. The New Carlisle pool, I'm shaking, I'm sorry. The pool is the primary and often only accessible location for swim lessons and water safety training for children and adults in our area, especially since the fitness center closed. Ms. Erie touched on the CDC citing drowning of children ages 14 and below. Both my children, ages 16 and 10, learned to swim in the New Carlisle pool, beginning with parent-child lessons at 12 months old, learning important life-saving skills. Swimming is a low-impact, full-body exercise, ideal for all ages and capabilities. Closing the pool removes an affordable and unique form of physical activity from the community, which runs counter to public health goals. Swimming is often cited for its stress-relieving and mental health benefits as an important source of regular, accessible recreation. Both my children have different forms of sensory processing needs. The pool provides a unique sensory experience that can soothe, regulate, and empower children with sensory processing disorder. My second point is community and social infrastructure. The pool is a fundamental piece of social infrastructure, serving as a multi-generational hub where neighbors meet, social bonds are formed, and sense of community is fostered, some of which was lost with COVID-19. The pool provides a structured, supervised environment for children and teens, unlike a splash pad would. It offers teens summer jobs and the swim team Go Mighty Ducks. My son has participated in the swim team for 6 years, and I've also encouraged him to join the Tecumseh High School team. My daughter, who is 10, has swam for 3 years on the swim team, and she's always excited to meet new people. My daughter's she will talk your ear off. Even my husband helped with the logo of the Mighty Ducks. A public pool ensures all residents, regardless of income, have access to a safe place to swim and cool off. Closing the pool disproportionately impacts lower income families and those that cannot afford private club memberships or backyard pools, widening the gap in access and equity. Myself and my family are not a family that has the yard space or financial capability to have our own pool. Number 3, economic and property values. Studies have shown that homes near community amenities like parks and community pools have a higher property value and greater resale appeal, contributing to the local tax base. The pool provides local employment and attracts visitors, especially with their parties that they have. In my head, I'm saying the 4th of July. It's usually pretty darn packed. Also, my brother will be moving into the new complex, so that's also a draw for them because they're older and they like the fact that there was a pool in the area. Financial and management consequences, I understand, and I have heard and I have watched the videos. Something that I looked at was about pools in Ohio being winterized, and to withstand freezing temperatures. If a pool remains closed during the hot summers, it causes stagnant water, which turn to swamp-like conditions of aggressive algae, debris, and increase in mosquitoes and equipment damage. And that also has a massive cost to reopen. After viewing the arguments for the pool and the financial concerns, I just feel that the pool is necessary investment for the community's future and a draw for the new residents. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Bill, Dawn.
Do you mind if I just provide a little bit of context?
That's what I was going to
Yes,
ask.
please.
Okay,
Because I'm a
yes.
property owner right across the street from the pool. I'm Carrie Schreiner. And I'd like to hear more than what I see on Facebook on what's the pros and cons
Okay.
and what the structure of the pool is. The
Okay.
condition of it.
Yes, ma'am. And please come back up to the podium. I don't want to deter anyone from making any comments. Is it okay if I
I
speak?
need knowledge.
Yes. Okay, so I am your somewhat newly appointed city manager. I was appointed back in March. Born and raised here, was taught to swim at the New Carlisle City Pool. So one of the things, I had to do lots of homework, even though I thought I was well plugged into the community and had all the other boxes to check to qualify for the job. But if you watch the budget session of 2024, it's very enlightening and a little bit scary. Because what the decision was in 2024 is the pool is closing, period. But we'll keep it open for one more year. So where we're at, I got onboarded right as the new pool manager was being appointed. We got to meet each other as we were in processing, and I spent the entire summer at the pool. And because I knew this was a major objective of council, that we need to, we were strongly considered, or we're there, I don't want to speak on behalf of council, that this pool needs to close. But I operate with a head and a heart, and I'm glad God gave me both, because your head says one thing and your heart says another thing in this situation, and you need both to really get to the point of reason on what our next steps are. So there was nothing wrong from a management perspective. There's lots of things that were fruits of what happened this past summer with the pool. So much that last Tuesday, when we had our budget session, I proposed to the council to please, let's extract the permanent closure of the pool out of our minds. The pool has its worth. For everything that everyone is going to mention, at the same time, please make the comments publicly. I hear you. They hear you. We understand that we need to come with a long-lasting plan. But here is where the rubber meets the road. 2 years ago, we had a $3 million surplus in our general fund. It takes about $2 million to operate the city. So just like your savings account, what most people should teach you is when you have a family especially, you should have 1 year of income in savings for things that could possibly happen. So we have that. But because of the developments, like any business, you have to spend money to make money. We have high earners that are coming not only into New Carlisle, but into the county at a rapid rate. We are selling houses. But the problem is we don't get their income from their income tax until we've gone through an entire tax season. So really, we will not see dividends until spring of 2027, where we see this additional revenue come in. But the problem is the amount of inspections, the amount of permits, all the other work that goes into building 700 houses and going through a 35% population boom. We are taken right now just out of our own work of just trying to manage this. So what we decided collectively as a theory of the 2026 budget, every single department had to make major cuts. And everybody wanted things. They needed bodies, they needed vehicles, they needed infrastructure support, and we cut down the line. Because we really need to batten down the hatches like a family to prepare for, the good days that are coming in 2027. So my proposal was we keep the pool open but close the gates. So we will do all the maintenance and everything else to keep the pool sustaining so we don't incur further damage. But we need to close the gates because on average, it costs about $40,000 a year that we aren't getting back. So we spend a lot more money than that, but through passes and concessions, we get it slowly back. But what I want to do is I want to pad our account. So then we have an additional, right now I think we're sitting at $90,000 in the pool fund. What council could have done is taken that $90,000 out of the pool fund and threw it back into the general fund. But council had a consensus last Tuesday that we're not ready to do that. So we're going to keep that money in savings right now. And what I hope to do, we just stood up what's called the Social Services Commission. So that was my first initiative for our board, was addressing the human suffering within our community. We have to. We got folks that are trying to figure out how to get meat for their hamburger helper. These are hard times for all of us. So we stood up the Social Services Commission. Their meeting is in 2 weeks. But the next is Parks and Rec. What falls under Parks and Rec? The pool falls under Parks and Rec. So what I want is another strategic team, along with our staff and our council, to look really hard at this. And all the ideas of hiring a contractor like 12 cities in the Miami Valley do, on average pay about $70,000 to pay a contractor to run that. I don't have $70,000 to hire a contractor right now. But we have $22,000 that we can give you guys fireworks with. Christiansburg can't do that. We can. My hope is, by 2027, we will be in a healthy financial shape where we're not spending more than we're making, and we can then make these more bold decisions, because finding people to run the pool is one thing, but we still have to address the infrastructure. This pool was built over 60 years ago, and it needs major repairs. So when I was a kid, this pool needed major repairs. So it's not that, the last 5 years we've been kicking the can. We've been kicking the can for a while. And at some point, we come to an inflection point where something massive is going to happen, a major crack, a boiler bust, and then we're in the decision that we're permanently shutting down the pool. So quite honestly, this move that I'm proposing to council is to save the pool, but we have to make a sacrifice in order to do that.
Go ahead. Anybody want to follow up?
Yeah, I will.
Anyone in the audience?
Mr. Cook, just a moment, sir.
Hi, council. My name is Emerald Bilbrey. I live at 230 North Pike Street. If you think about that for a second, I can see the pool from my backyard. We bought our house 3 years ago. I have a teenager, a preteen, and a preschooler. So we have lots of time that we're still planning on utilizing the pool, which was actually, when we bought our house in 2022, a big selling point for us, that proximity to the library, the proximity to the pool. I want you guys to know that I'm like an active community person. I spent 8 years on the PTO at the elementary schools. And I want to see the best things happen for our community. I took some notes because I spend most of my day talking to my 4-year-old. So my ability to speak in public is not super great. Thank you. So something that is really important, and I know we're talking about we're just going to close it for a year. And this is interesting considering the sheriff that was here talking about crime rates and stuff. This is one of the only things for our kids to do in this community. And so we're setting our children up to be bored. And what happens when teenagers and young kids are bored? Their parents are at work. What's going to happen with these kids who have a safe place for them to spend the day? Missy already touched on the fact that kids need swim lessons. Drownings are more likely to happen in rural areas. We're surrounded by rural areas. So that maybe those people don't live inside of our community, but that is our community. We're not just New Carlisle. I know we're serving New Carlisle, but our community is not just New Carlisle. The loss of these things will have, the loss of the pool will have mental health repercussions for those people that don't get out a lot. And I think that's something that we've dealt with a lot since the pandemic is connection. That's definitely something I saw in the PTO. We have had a hard time getting connected back to our community because of that. So when we close the pool, even if it's just for a year, we are losing that time making those connections with our neighbors. And I think that's really important right now. We need to be connecting with our community. Sorry, let me get back in here. I think closing the pool is going to send a negative message to the people that might be looking to build in our neighborhood. I think they're going to say, oh, these people, they don't have a gym here. It just closed. It's being torn down. Now they don't have a pool. We have 2, 3 great-ish parks. But we want things to bring those people to those developments so that they move there. That's why the developments are there, right? And then my biggest concern with the plan that is in motion currently is that I would love to see a plan for if we're going to build a new pool. I'd like to see that plan first. I don't want to close the pool without a plan, because that means the pool is not going to open. That's what we're setting ourselves up for, is failure. If we don't have a plan first, we won't have a pool. Because a new community pool, we're looking at like $7 million. I don't know if anybody's looked at that, but that 90 grand that we have in our pool savings, that's not gonna cut it. So if we don't have a plan before we close the pool, this community will not have a pool. It happened in Park Lane. That's where I grew up, was in Park Lane. That's a hair salon now. So definitely not a pool. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for listening to my words today. And I'm sure someone else will talk after me. Thank you.
Did I cut right in front? Excuse me.
We own 2
Name and
houses.
address, ma'am.
Huh?
Your name and address?
Oh, my name's Elizabeth Isaacson. We live at 217 East Main Street in Medway. I was just gonna talk about my experience with the Greene County pool closing. Because I grew up in Fairgrounds Road in Beaver Creek. I was a member of Dayton Raiders swim team. I swam competitively for like 20 years. I was also a Beaver Creek High School swim coach, and I taught swimming lessons at the YMCA for like 5 years. And when the Greene County pool closed, I'm a licensed teacher. I'm licensed 712 Life Science. I went back to teaching. First of all, I lost my job. I was a certified water safety instructor, lifeguard instructor, and lifeguard. So I extensively worked at the Greene County pool. And I also taught as a teacher because I'm licensed. So when the Greene County pool closed, first of all, I lost my job. And then I got another job because obviously the pool closed. No more teaching lifeguard certification classes or teaching swimming or anything like that. So I actually got a job at a YMCA in Colorado. I moved out there for the summer and taught other lifeguard classes. And then in the fall when I came back to teach at the high school in Xenia, literally there were so many teen pregnancies because all the girls were literally like, instead of at the pool, in their free time, they were out on their boyfriends' couches. So I'm saying the loss of a safe third space that's public, I thought had a huge impact on like the teenagers in the community. And also there was like a spike that fall at all the high schools in like teen suicide. And I think Beaver Creek High School had to have a meeting because they had like 18 or 19 kids commit suicide in 1 year. I'm like, the kids spent the summer inside. So I was like, the social impact. And I heard you say, do you need $45,000? Is that what you said?
The general operating fund that comes out of the general fund.
Because I could donate $45,000.
You have 45,000?
Yeah,
awesome.
I do.
Okay.
Because like, I just thought the social impact working was so bad, going back to the high school, that any amount of money would be worth keeping it open just for the safe third space. And also just the drownings that occurred, the spike in drownings that occurred in the community. If you look, Greene County like refuses to publicly say like the increase of drownings after they close the community pools because kids can't swim. Then they end up in the rivers. We have drownings in the Mud River here. There's tons of backyard ponds that people would swim in instead because people still need to swim in the summer because they're hot and there's nowhere to go. So like, yeah, I was like, I'll just donate the money. I can donate.
I mean, that's just the operating cost.
Yeah.
And that's what the city of New Carlisle.
Well, I mean, it's like if I was willing to donate that much money. Maybe
Well, I know, but
donate.
honestly, I need $2 million.
Yeah, I know.
So
But I'm saying it's not
we've been
worth
doing
it.
that for over 60 years where we just pull a little bit out of savings account is what we'll call our general fund.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if even one kid drowns in the river this summer because they're there instead of the pool, it's not worth the loss of life. Because, like, pools are, like, essentially, like, life-saving devices because they teach people how to swim and they keep them out of trouble in, like, backyard ponds, backyard pools, rivers, lakes. The Mad River has drownings because people can't swim.
Yes, ma'am.
I've seen it myself. You're going to have an increase of people, like, swimming in unsupervised locations. And, like, rural areas have a spike, usually have, like, increase in drowning, especially, like, since 2020 when so many pools across the country, because, like, this is a trend. Everybody is closing all the pools built in the 1960s because they need so many repair costs, no one can afford it, so they close them instead of keep them open. This is like everywhere in the country. So like
the
everyone's
difference
using their
is,
community pool.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to dialogue too much, Mr. Mayor, but the pool was actually built, just some history facts here. Northwoods was built in the late 50s.
Yeah, all the pools are built
So
in the 1950s.
the difference is there, you can't find another
Oh,
municipality.
and you also, it's also hard to join private pools. Like the private pool I was a member of when I was a kid, Woodhaven, there's literally a 5-year wait list to even join. It's $1,000 a summer in Beaver Creek. It's like, there's so many people trying to get into the private pools in Greene County now that there's a wait list in like all of them because
Well-
they close all the public pools.
Right, and so I guess the point that I was trying to make was, we got the city pool
Yeah.
because New Carlisle wanted to grow very aggressively
Yeah.
in the late 50s and the 60s. Well, you can't find another municipality that is going through a 35 to 40% population boom right now.
Yeah.
So we have this thing called TIF money.
Yeah.
And Mr. Kicko can probably explain it better than me or Mr. Jeffries. But essentially, we can allocate money that we make off of these houses. It's extra revenue that comes in to promote the developments.
Yeah.
So this is, our hope is that we will build this strategic team like we did with the Social Services Commission, and we got to results with that. We'll do the exact same thing tackling the pool, which the hope is, I don't want to just keep paying $40,000 a year and then wait for that $1 million infrastructure cost.
Yeah.
And then I have to tell the community, unless you want to raise taxes or do a levy, there is no other solution.
Yeah, but what about insurance? Because like, we like come to this pool. We have like 2 houses. We own a house in Bellbrook, we own a house in Medway. And my kids are a member of the swim team in Pinecrest. We've got like 3 young kids. Actually, my 2 oldest kids actually medaled in like all 5 individual events because I taught them everything I knew at the Greater Dayton Swimming Association final this past year. And then there's the swim team up here, and it's already like tough to come to because like there's hardly, you know, they don't run the same level of league up here. You already have like a low, kind of a lower level league up here because there's not as many people because of the socioeconomic thing up here. So you're already like
Ma'am,
not that
can
competitive.
you
but-
summarize yourself up?
Well, I don't know.
As expired?
Yeah. But I don't know. But anyhow, that pool down at Pinecrest, they've tried to close it multiple times in like the last 20 years. And they just keep on going, and like all the boilers and stuff broke like 2 years ago. And like insurance paid for some of it. And that pool is super run down too. It's like 1950s. Like the only pool, I mean, that was the reason why they closed the Greene County pool. They said it needed too many repairs built in the 1960s. Because they like closed everything, and then all the kids know where to go. And they also closed the roller skating rings at the same time because they said the roller skating rings were, so they just closed the roller skating rings and the pools. I don't know. So it's just like a loss of a third safe space. I mean, not good for the community, but of course everyone knows that.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like the manager to finish his thoughts on what he was talking about with the pool and what our plans were. If he was not done speaking.
No, I don't want to speak on behalf of the council, but I've had several conversations individually, collectively, publicly, and privately about this pool. And I just want you all to know that I heard you and they heard you. I hate this. I know little Dylan, and I talked about this today and most people who know me know how passionate I am about this community. And I am just your city manager, but I'm also your neighbor. I live here. I have kids here. This is the hardest decision I have had to make over the last 7 months. This isn't easy, and it's easy to look at this as a failure, and I don't think it is because, I think about little Dylan, and we had our community night at the pool, which I hope all of you guys were at, and it was a huge celebration of our community, and there was little Dylan walking around with a slice of pizza and his drink, and he was 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And for this kid in that moment, it was totally worth it. Give me a price tag, and I'm paying it. I'll deplete my savings account to save these types of things for kids like Dylan. Because I was a kid like Dylan. I came from the country because I grew up in the township and saw civilization, a couple times over the summer from getting out of the woods of Honey Creek to spend time and learn how to swim and listen to music and, get concession stand food. I just, from at least from the city manager's perspective, I'll let council speak for themselves. This is very hard for me. This is probably, I didn't sleep much over this weekend. It was hard enough the last weekend because I knew I had to go into budget and I wasn't sure exactly where council was going to stand. If they would even take that proposal of just give me 1 year to come up with a strategic plan to present. And you're right, I don't like having to close anything without another plan. But we need to prevent ourselves from being every other community that shut down a city pool. And we have an opportunity to band together as a team and come up with a solution that when Dylan has grandkids, the New Carlisle City Pool is still open. That's what I'm focused on. Not what's right in front of my face, but after I breathe my last breath, this community is in a healthy state. Sorry, that was my point.
Go ahead.
I'm Elizabeth Handworker. I live at 301 North Medway, Carlisle Road, New Carlisle. My kids took swim lessons with Miss Karen at the pool. I know this sounds silly, but one of the things I loved about swim lessons is I taught them how to brush their teeth. I know that sounds really stupid, but you teach a kid to spit water out of their mouth, you're teaching them how to brush their teeth. These very basic things. They can take a shower because they're used to having water splashed in their face, right? These very basic things. Anyway, love the pool, been a member for many, many years because, frankly, we were required to because of the swim team that my kids have been a part of. And I want to just say two things that nobody else has covered. One is if there's a problem with our budget for this year, why did we plan for the developments and not plan for the cut in the budget? Right? So why is that the problem? And you should have foreseen that. Okay. The next thing I want to say is that my daughter is 17. She last year got she had the opportunity to be an assistant swim coach. And the leadership that taught her, right? Anybody have a teenager who can't get a job, right? These kids, they can't find jobs except for at the pool, okay? Adults are taking their jobs. So how are we going to raise children to have jobs and be productive members of society and teach them leadership? This is how they do it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want a question. It seems I'm Carrie Schreiner at 215 East Lake. The townhouse is by the pool. Being in construction and being in budgets and being in all the things we've done it through my life and in it, it seems like you're telling us it's a dollars and cents issue right now, along with a lot of repairs that need to be done at the pool, correct? So what as a community can we do in raising more funds? I'm not saying tax levies or anything or that, but if everybody's so passionate about the pool, we need to kick it together and help find a solution. We got enough division in our country right now with politics and things. In a small community, we need to come up and do something, whether it's car washes or fundraisers or whatever, but let us be part of the decision making and help solve the solution.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
it's
Sorry.
amazing, it's amazing that you say that, because we have a Park and Rec board that we have absolutely nobody on.
I guess I'm.
And we would love to have 5 or 7 of these
Yeah.
people in this audience tonight, adults, I mean, you gotta be 18 to serve, to come up and help us come up with these type of plans, because that pool falls under the Park and Rec Board. You know, everybody votes for us up here. We all have, well, some of us have elections this coming November. We can't solve all the problems, you know? We need community input, and not just when we do something they don't like.
Exactly.
We need these boards to be filled. The pool, 10 years ago, and there's people sitting in this room and on this council that knows I was very vocal in closing that pool. Why? Because it cost the taxpayers, you all, $40,000 to keep it open. And I know there's 2 people sitting in here that remembers those conversations, because they're both mad at me. What are you looking around for? So for me to change my mind 10 years later to where I can buy into closing the pool down for 1 season, to come up with a plan, hopefully with community input, hopefully with a Park and Rec board to bring us ideas on how to raise this money. Because quite honestly, the only option I can see is to put it to the voters and let the voters decide if they want a pool or not, and that comes with a price tag. Whether it's a bond, tax increases, which nobody wants. I don't want a bond, I don't paying more taxes than anybody else does. But that's what it's gonna come down to if we cannot get grants or something for this pool. So and what I started to say is, for me to change my mind 9 years or 10 years later, you know, again, there's people in this room that knows I usually don't change my mind. In fact, they probably never heard me change my mind. But we need help on these boards to help make these decisions. So if any of you out there that's 18 and above wants to join the Park and Rec boards, see the city manager tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
All right, let me jump in here. Back in 2022, we spent a little over $90,000 on that pool. This past year, $197,000. So it has doubled. Now, the standpoint of the fact of it is, you have asked about looking at another pool. I made a trip up north sometime back, I think probably about this time last year, to visit a small city. At that time, I think the pool they had put together was about $3 million. Today, I would imagine we're pretty close to $5 million. Now, as Mr. Lindsay has said, how are we gonna pay for a $5 million pool?
The base price of a backyard pool by,
I'm sorry, I can't
it
hear
used to be
you.
$30,000, and this year I asked them, and the base price of a backyard pool now is $65,000, double since 2020.
She's talking about backyard pools. Yeah.
Does that $190-some thousand you're talking about for this year, sir, include those new buildings?
If you will come up to the podium, I can barely hear you.
To answer your question on the new buildings, ma'am, those was done with grants.
So that the.
You talking about the shelters?
Yeah.
Those was done with grants, and they was done, if I'm not mistaken,
2022.
yeah, I would say about 3 years ago.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering. That's-
So that was done with, if I'm not sure, CBGC grant, was it, Mr. Kicko?
So that's not included in those?
No, the city did not pay that. That was done by a grant.
So I'm James Swearingen, I live at 825 Free Road. I've lived here my whole life other than joining the military. So that's actually one of my questions. So if 3 years ago, you got grants to build buildings on there. Why didn't we find grants to fix our pool?
Because there's no grants for our pools.
There are no grants for a
Not
pool.
that we have found.
There's no organizations out there, anything like that. I'm not saying, but that's one of those things where, and you're right. I haven't been to a lot of these meetings or hardly any because, well, my hours kind of prevented me most of the time because of a job. With that being said, we spend $22,000 a year or so on fireworks, like you said. Some communities can't do that, but a lot of them do. And our members can go there. You take that $22,000 that you spent, maybe throw it back into the pool. There's some other things that we can do. There's a lot of organizations. I'm a member of a church. When the church wants to do something, they do a capital campaign. And you're right, there are parks and recs, things like that. Yeah, people need to get on those boards. But you as city council and you as our city employees, ask the community, hey, we're looking at shutting the pool down because we can't afford it. What can you as the community do to help us? We need, you said $2 million because she offered to give us 45, and you said, well, that's not enough, I actually need 2 million. So I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but we got somebody offering to give us some money. I haven't heard anything about a capital campaign or something, you know, a levy, like you mentioned there, Mr. Lindsay.
Nobody wants,
you know, but no,
nobody wants a levy.
You're right.
I mean,
you are 100% right, but like the sheriff said, I'm willing to give you 0.5% to start arresting freaking thieves, start cutting down on some of that crap, because, well, I plan on staying here for however many more years God's got me on this earth, okay? That's my plan. But the idea of this pool, we talked about mental health, and we talked about what our kids are going to do. I'm a law enforcement officer. During the summer in Miamisburg, they had their whole pool and everything shut down. Juvenile crime went up. Exponentially, it went up. And that's a problem.
Ma'am, you're not at the podium, if you would mind.
I got it, Mr. Lindsay. So my thing is, what are our kids going to do? The decision's kind of made. I get it. This is a dog and pony show right now. I understand that. What my question is what are we going to do with the kids this year? When that pool's not open, it's just, you know, running to keep it so that we don't get algae and a bunch of other crap occurred. What are the kids going to do? This summer, where are the kids going to go? Because our swim team for the school didn't have a pool because our fitness center shut down. So our swim team failed miserably because they tried to go to Yellow Springs, Antioch, and they got like 3 practices in 2 weeks. My daughter, who's a senior this year, her times last year were her freshman times. How pathetic is that? What are we doing for this community? That's my question.
If I could.
So how much money? Go ahead.
Quickly. I mean, I'm a fellow military man myself. All this situation is we need to pull some from the battle line so I don't lose the war. And you know the definition of insanity, that you're not going to, you know, be Napoleon and go out there with pride and lose one battle and end up losing the whole war. I am with you 150%, but if I don't pull my resources back and reconsolidate, I'm going to lose the war. This is my panic button.
Okay, so here's a question.
Pentagon, I must pull back so we can reconstitute and then get back to the fight.
So here's a real question. So you say we close it this year and we do whatever it is to, I don't know, keep it so that bad things don't happen to it. And then you're going to put a committee together to figure out what we can do. So you're going to throw $20,000 or whatever to let it run, but not run this year to then what? Maybe just shut it down next year because it's going to cost us $6 million or like whatever it is. I guess that's where some of the question and concern is. Why not have it open for 1 more year? And if something bad happens, well, we got to shut it down, or give me a levy, or give me a capital campaign so we can fix it. Right now, what you're saying is it's going to shut down. We're going to put a panel together, a committee together, and then we're going to say, maybe we can get enough money. Maybe we might be able to save it. It's going to cost you, the community, X amount of dollars. We have all these houses coming in, and we think, I know there's projections about how much money we're going to get for the taxes. But like we said, I'm sure there was some planning that went into 700 new houses and all the water and sewer and everything that had to be ran out there. I get all that. Then I know the building inspections and all the permits and everything, they cost. People had to pay for them. Give me 30 more seconds. But my question is right now we're in a doomsday. Like you said, we want to win the war, right?
Yeah.
You're right. But we don't have a plan for the war. We have a plan for the battle.
Well, that's why you reconstitute your forces. If I get a major crack or a boiler explodes, we've lost.
We've lost. You're right.
And you're right. With
but
the
right
motion
now,
of
we
prayer,
don't
I
even
can do a
have-
levy and everything else. You're right. But I would like to give us some other options, and there is some other options that are out on the table. But again, when you're in the trenches in the middle of the fight, you got to get above to that 30,000-foot view to be able to analyze of where are things going wrong? Where can I get additional resources? How can we recalibrate ourselves to win this fight?
So
Because
why are
if
we
the
there
trajectory
now,
is,
not
the
before?
trajectory is we are spending more than we are making. You're talking about one element and 1,000 line items in the city.
You're right.
We've cut everywhere.
We are spending more than we're making.
Correct.
Cities should have enough for emergency fund, but we shouldn't be making money. We should be putting it in the community.
Can I just, really quick, sir, in all other capacities, we're building a disc golf course in the park right now. And some of you may be wondering, why are you spending all this money on a disc golf course when you got a failing pool going on right now? Well, there's this thing called an enterprise fund. And the way an enterprise fund from the state auditor's perspective is, this is a business. There's money transactions that happen there. So Big Daddy state government can come in and say, I don't care about your guys' plan. You're running this thing into the ground, it's shut down. So that we do have additional pressure with the pool as a park than we do at any other park. I have to prove to the state auditors that I'm being prudent with your tax money. And believe me, if it was that easy of just, we have the money we can reallocate, keep pulling out of the general fund, I promise I'd use that round if I had it.
So with the people here to this evening, who would be in favor of a tax increase or a levy to keep the pool open next year if we could get it on the ballot in May, which the pool's already just about open in May, I think, or close to it. So where's that money? And then we wouldn't get that money until 27, excuse me. So we still, the city, or the general fund, still has to fund that pool at a tone of $190,000 out of our general fund before that money starts coming in to start looking and planning. Well, planning would probably already be happening if the levy passed, to build a new pool. Because ultimately, I believe that is our goal, is to build a new pool, take that one out and put a new pool in someplace else. And in my opinion, a little bit nicer or bigger pool.
Earlier, someone mentioned there's no grants out there for swimming pools.
Not that I'm aware of, ma'am.
Grants are written. You propose them. So just on a little bit of a Googling thing,
Did you do that?
small towns are eligible to get a grant for swimming pools underneath the USDA Rural Development Community Facilities. So if we had somebody that it's a professional job to write grants. It's not just something you can pull out and write on a piece of paper. But that is another option to try in the meantime while we're waiting around. Like you said, more people on the committees to get going and move things, and actions speak louder than words. But just a simple Google, there's an answer. You just have to go out and find it and be pushy like an old lady.
Ma'am, you'd be awesome on our Park and Rec board.
Yeah.
You can do it. You know you're going to see my face again. 'Cause I don't just talk.
I wanted to say briefly, I so strongly support the Parks and Recs Board. And we need people. We need people who have got the time to, as she did, sit and Google, look at the grant, is it something that will apply to us? There's so many things out there. And if it's not a grant, it's money the city's got coming in this little bundle or in this little package, or there's little bits and pieces that we can find as a group if we work together. And this summer, we can give the kids something to do. It won't be as fantastic as the pool, but it will serve a lot of our kids. I mean, we did the Easter egg thing last year. There's lots of things we can do. We can do egg hunts, we can do hidden treasures, we can do pirates, and there are lots of different things. What'd you say?
He said every day.
Not every day, no, but there is lunch at the park every day, and there's other things.
It's a done deal. Just
We can do more.
problem with that is the increase in violent crime is linked to body
Right.
heat increasing.
Not in our
And
town.
the pool lowers your body temperature, so
Yes. Go ahead.
I know I already spoke. I just had a couple questions, and I understand that you did just get here, so this isn't, I guess, really a question for you. If the vote last year was that we were going to keep the pool open for one more year, was there any planning that happened in that year, or did we just, like you said, kick the can down the road, or was it this council's intention to then just close the pool? There was no planning.
Let me
The
answer
plan
that one.
was to put it on the elect for next year. For this year, it was supposed to have been on the ballot. That was our plan.
So
put it on the ballot.
Let me answer that.
Go ahead.
We changed city managers. So consequently, in bringing Mr. Hall up to speed on some of the things, has fallen a little bit of the wayside. He has probably picked about some of the things that we need to get done first, and one of those was the Social Services Committee. And I feel responsible that I was one of the ones that promoted and recommended that we put on the ballot some type of a legislation in order to keep the pool running. That did not happen, but hopefully it will. My first question is, would this group, I guess the word is be open to another meeting for you all to come together and to kind of talk over how you would want to go about seeing a way to bringing some of what we have discussed to play?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
If there's, and not to misspeak, if there's something that we can actually look at and see what we would need, if it's a levy or like whatever, if there's actual numbers to say, this is what we need to kick the can one more year to figure out what we can do for this planning and whatever, because we're assuming all this tax money is coming, then sign me up.
Don, is there any thought about the possibility of, let's say, 2 weeks down the road having another general meeting?
I mean, I don't ever oppose getting community members around the table, old school style. I mean, I know we've talked a lot about this social services stuff, but I mean, it was unbelievable when I came into this job, the level of suffering going on in the community. I mean, it was beyond like panic button, like I have to get this figured out, because I am the social services department. That's what it consists of. So I
mean, if you spend like 2 hours in any of our schools, you'll know it like immediately. It is
I have a
very.
criminal law passed, so I'm very familiar with human suffering. I was also the chairman of the Catholic Church for all of Green County. So this wasn't new to me, but to realize how inundated, especially with elder care. Elder care is like a plague that's happening across the nation. And my undergrad's in history, and you can never find it in history. It's never happened, because we had generations that started to decide to have no children, or their children all moved away. So in order to die, you have to give up your house to go into a nursing home. So we have folks that literally have no legs and are holding onto their house, and they can't cut their grass, they can't do anything, they can't even go to the store. So I didn't have a solution for it. I just said, we have a problem. And I'm here for my judgment of being able to make these dictations. So we did, within a matter of weeks, we had 2 working sessions. The Social Services Commission was not a part of the original plan. It was formulated through a big box of tables with pastors and nonprofits and just concerned community members that came up with a plan. And that became the Social Services Commission. That meets for the first time on November 6th. That will start having cases every single month that they will triage, they will work, and then they will work with me and the county and the state to address the human suffering going on within the community. So that style, that method, I wanted to do the exact same thing with the Parks and Rec Board. That is per our charter that we are supposed to have a Parks and Rec Board, not a Social Services Commission. We did that because we had to, but I need community members. We've been advertising like crazy. Please join the Parks and Rec Board. And nobody joins. I don't have one single application.
4 years.
So having all these people come in and talk about one of our parks.
City website.
It's on our webpage.
Well, I mean, I don't sit down and look at
the New Carlisle webpage every day on my life.
It's been in the newsletters.
It was in the newsletter.
It's been in the newsletters
If you have a postage of New Carlisle for the city, you get a newsletter, and we are constantly soliciting. And I'll make it public on YouTube land right now. Yeah, well, we have newsletters in the back, but please, if you guys want to be involved, if the pool is one of the parks that you're super concerned with, please join the board and we can, come together and address this. Like I said, this is decades in the making. I just happen to be the guy that's here saying, I don't think I can just sit here and continue to watch this implode. We've got to come up with a plan here.
By the way, your explanation of things and how I got more information from you in your presentation than anything else around and looking. I'm impressed with the knowledge you've given us.
Well, thank you. Well, I wish I had answers for you. And it honestly, it makes me not feel very good as your leader that this is obviously a seriously pressing issue within our community. I get it. I got 3 teenagers. I understand. It's not that you don't bring value to it, but it's all compounded. But it comes back to the fact that how much longer am I going to be willing to pull out of our community savings account and throw it towards the pool with no long-term solutions? And the grants, great idea, but the problem is most grants require a split. So they give 50, we give 50. I don't have 50%. So again, I need money. And the developments, whether you liked them or not, what was going to happen in New Carlisle is we were going to age out, we were going to dissolve into a village. We have a median income of $38,000, and this was going to be Section 8 in a very poor area to live. The developments are our future. They're a necessity. But the thing is 30, 40 years from now, I don't want this community to have to just go build another 1,000 houses to save ourselves. We have got to be more prudent fiscally. We've got to get this under control. And some of that is, I need middle-class housing, which is the highest voting block and the highest earners. And those folks right now need to come into our town. And I hope, if they don't want to move here because of a city pool, I concede. But they're definitely not going to move here if they see my books and they see this is a bad investment of spending $350,000 in a house or in a town that doesn't know how to pay their bills. So it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I have to make a choice, and I'm going to choose to be fiscally prudent until we can come up with a long-term plan.
I just had a second question. That's okay. You said it is about $20,000 to not open, but open the pool next year, just to keep it.
Howie, what's our operating and maintenance? Because we got to pay some labor, and then we're going to have some maintenance and stuff to keep the pool just functioning and not completely winterized, correct?
Yeah, we'll have some gas going. We do keep the water out of it, but we got to have enough gas going. We have minimum electric. We'd like to shut them off, but if you shut them off, then you pay all the permitting fees to get it all connected. So we can't go to zero. And then there will be some things that we'll have to probably, the water. We're already well aware that everything we winterize, we cover it, empty the water out, stuff like that we even do in the wintertime. So there's going to be in liability insurance, inspection, cameras, things like that to keep an eye on it. So there's always a little bit of cost to it, whether it's 20, 15. We threw 20 in because you don't know what might happen in the year that we might have to fix.
Right. So, sorry, I'm just processing. So we're going to spend the 20 grand regardless, right? And potentially. And you said we usually have to spend about 40 to operate the pool.
I mean, the usual, I think, out of general fund has been around, we've had better years than others.
Right.
So you have your revenues that come in from concession stand, pool memberships, daily gates. Once you have that, then you have your expenditures, which is your wages, infrastructure costs, liability insurance, everything that goes into owning a business. Right. So you have your revenues and you have your expenses. Them alone come in at about, on average, $40,000 deficit every year.
Okay. So, just going to throw this out there. As a Pike Street resident, I don't care if we have fireworks. I literally don't care. So if it's $20,000 for the fireworks, and we're spending $20,000 to not open the pool, we get rid of the fireworks for a year. I'd rather take the fireworks out for a year and then circle back. And then you have all of us here and we're riled up about it, right? I know a lot of these people behind me because I worked with them in PTO, which means that you have community members behind me right now that are willing to put in the work. I had a full-time job with no money for, 5 years, right? So you have us here and we're riled up and the money potentially is there to run the pool for 1 more year while you've got us to come up with a plan. It doesn't, like, we can work on the plan and then close the pool. We don't need to close the pool and then work on a plan. Do you see what I'm saying? That's all.
Carrie Ann needs to talk.
Have we
Bill.
signed a contract for those fireworks?
No, not for 2026.
You had some.
Yes, I think one thing that's not being addressed and not being thought about here is there is some very serious structural issues with the pool. Very, very serious. And I need you guys to understand that. There are some very serious issues going on with the pool that we have had engineers come out multiple times. We need to figure out a way to fix them. 1, you can't fix it in the winter. 2, if one thing breaks and it's gonna cost a lot of money, the pool will end up permanently shut down, just like Greene County, as we just heard from one of our speakers. If anybody would like to elaborate on the structural issues with the pool, I think that could be helpful.
Well, I guess, I mean, there's so many things, and I feel like this is somewhat disingenuous for you guys. I get it, and I know I've said that several times, but we have another levy that's coming up in 2026 that we're still talking about, but we have some major issues, not with our fire department, but financially. We're growing. I wasn't here, part of the development decisions and everything else. It was a necessity, but all this stuff comes at a cost. I can't, pay my EMTs $20 an hour right now. So we are going to be coming to you guys come 2026, and we're going to be asking for not just a renewal, but we're going to need to increase it. Our fire department is our guardians of the city, and they're not adequately funded right now. So I could keep going down the list. I need more cops. It's a separate fund. It's, generated. We got a new, police chief. We didn't really have a police chief. I felt that was a necessity of having a dedicated supervisor studying the security of our town. But I mean, the list is endless. And it is. It's just like being around the family dinner table and saying, this is how much money we have to work with this year. These are all the needs. These are all the wants. And we have to make some decisions because we can't have all the wants and needs. So, we went through a lot of those things last Tuesday, but it's hard for me to advise, your governing body to say we should do a levy for the pool when I know your guys' property taxes all just went up. I know we need a jail and your sales tax is going to go up. I need more money for my fire department, and we need to save the pool. And I said, I don't mean it as a cliche thing. People legitimately are eating ramen noodles and Hamburger Helper, and they can't afford the meat to go with it. We have a median income per household of $38,000. So for me to be able to advise this body, knowing what our voting block looks like, without the 700 new homes or 666 homes, that's the dilemma I'm in, and I'm just being vulnerable as your fellow neighbor. What am I supposed to do? I can only tap these people for money so much before they eventually just say no down the line. All they're doing is taking our money. I don't feel that I'm getting the dividends, or I just can't afford it. Sorry.
Go ahead, young lady.
Thank you. My name is Rebecca Swearingen. I'm at 825 Free Road, New Carlisle. I appreciate you, Mayor Cook, bringing forth the idea of having another meeting, and I'm proposing that if we are able to do that we look at what other services we have in our New Carlisle area that can contribute to that conversation. I work at Family and Youth Initiatives, and we're part of the commission. I think what the commission is doing is phenomenal, but I think that needs to be a part of this conversation, because here's the thing. We need to get our school involved. We need to get Parks and Recs from Springfield involved. We need to look at ideas of day camps or whatever it is, because somebody said, what are we going to do every day, right? We have a mentoring program that goes into Tecumseh, and we're working with our students, and we see the need every single day. What we don't have access to them is during the summer. And we see a lot of regression in the summer. We see a lot of kids getting into all kinds of things. And so the fact of the matter remains, whether or not we can afford a pool is an issue. The alternate issue that we're dealing with right now, though, is what do we do with our kids in our community, because we don't want to see all of those rates go up. We don't want to see them suffer. So what can we do about it, right? Because what I hear you saying is, listen, like, you can tell me all the reasons why we need to have it, and I agree with you. However, it's just not going to happen. Okay, so what do we do about it? Because we can't just let our kids free range in front of a screen day in and day out. Because you just said our average medium is 38,000, all those parents are at work. And so we have this whole community of kids who need some kind of enrichment. We as a community, though, are willing to meet them. We're willing to meet them where they're at, whether it's Quest and Family and Youth Initiatives and Parks and Rec and all these different organizations that we have. Impact Bethel feeds them at our parks every single day. I bet you get them into this conversation and they'll say, absolutely, we want to do something enriching. If we have they go and get college students who come and volunteer, we could do that too, right? We could bring a day camp back to Smith Park. There used to be one. So there's things that we can do. So I appreciate, Mayor Cook, that you put it out there to do another community meeting. I think if we intentionally invite people to the table, if we get representatives from our school, if we get representatives from Impact Bethel and our community members who care, right? You have people who have actively volunteered on our PTO for years, and that is no easy feat. They're willing to put in the work. They're willing to be the hands and feet. Let's take them up on this opportunity. Let's do something. We can't not do anything.
Can I just say something?
Go
real
ahead.
Quick. I know I've talked a lot, and I say this with a lot of grace. If the kids of New Carlisle went to the New Carlisle City Pool, like the majority of them, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That's right.
We wouldn't. But if you look at the attendance numbers, you look at the season passes, only 50% are even from New Carlisle. So I agree with you. But I also have to be bold when I say this. I cannot take the responsibility as the chief administrative officer of the city to be responsible for all the juveniles in New Carlisle during the summer. I can't carry that. Like I said, I could give you a laundry list of issues that I have, but to put that burden on the government because of the family, we have to also, we are a conservative rural town. And I have 4 children that I am responsible for. And I understand that there's hard things that happen, and we need to be there as a village or a city to be able to help those that are in need. But to say that we're going to make a standard that the government is responsible for juvenile activities throughout the summer, I don't have the resources to be able to do that with or without a pool.
Well, I wasn't suggesting that.
I wasn't specifically speaking to you, ma'am, but there's been a consensus trend. There's been a consistent trend talking about what are the kids going to do. And I understand that. But I can't, if the kids were all going to the city pool, I would have enough revenue. We would have had it for years. We've had a declining attendance. You can buy a pool for $500 at Walmart. Like, I get the new homes, but in a couple years, the new homes will be here. We'll be in a different financial state. But right now, I mean, we have pop-up pools all over everybody's backyards. Nobody had a pool when I was a kid. So, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out that we were at capacity at the pool several times all summer. Where no one else could come in, even past.
Because that was because we didn't have enough lifeguards. So you can only have.
No, that is with lifeguards on every wall and 2 in the front.
I was there every day.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
I got one. Mike Larry, 816 Plymouth Drive. First off, since there is a big crowd here tonight, thank you guys all for coming. A lot of you wouldn't have got to meet your council members and the new city manager. He is a really good guy. I think he really is going to do a good job for the city, so a little round of applause. So even though it's a bad way to meet him for your first time, I'm glad you guys got to meet him. And council, I mean, even though we don't always agree, me and Carrie went at it over chickens and stuff, but they're up here for the right reason. So it's a tough decision. We've talked about it. You know, we all know the pool needs replaced. It is what it is. It is extremely old. Moving forward, though, I think it would be smart, you know, fireworks. I love fireworks. I don't want to see them go anywhere. It's $22,000. I mean, I call it a drop in the bucket. I know it's tighter for your guys' budget. I did remember seeing that there was $50,000 for a park in the budget last week.
That was for the Parks and Recs Board.
Okay.
To be able to put on events for our citizens
Okay.
when people apply and
Okay.
join the
Which
board.
includes fireworks.
Oh, the fireworks comes out of the fireworks? Okay, I just was curious with that.
Kind of our community event fund.
But, no, I do like whoever's idea it was, whether it was yours or Mr. Mayor's. I think this is, I mean, the back and forth talk has been great. It's not been heated. I think we can really build off of the minimum between the citizens who want the pool, your administration and council, so. And I would, you know, of course, love to help with it, so thank you, guys.
And I'd like to take a minute, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to reiterate what I said earlier. All of you out here that's 18 and over, we only need 7 of you. I think our board only really calls for 5, but I'll put 7 on there.
We can do that.
We can do that, to look at these type of things, not just the pool, but other areas as far as Park and Rec is concerned, and help us come up with ideas. The 7 of us in the administration, quite honestly, we cannot all do it on our own. We need community input, and I've been on council, this is my 4th year of this term. I've never seen this many people here in the last 4 years, so I'm glad you all came. I'd like to see the house full every week to come and talk to us and give us ideas and tell us if we're doing a good job or not. But the only thing is, people only shows up when we as a body do something you all don't like. But we have to be good stewards of your tax dollars. It's our tax dollars too, but the state demands us to do that. And like the manager said, if the state determines our pool is done, they can come in and shut it down. There's nothing we can do about it, except for try to build a new pool, which means money. Everything comes back to money, and that's the root of all evil.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
Well, that too.
Thank you.
Well, if you're going to be biblical, yes,
Agreed.
ma'am.
That brings up another question. If you shut it down, what's going to happen to that property? It's right across the street from my building, and if you just leave it sit there.
Well, we would not leave it sit there. We would fill it in or do something with it, probably turn it into a park or, you know, I've even talked to do it, to turn it into a what do they call it, a splash pad until we get a new pool built. But, you know.
Splash pad in Springboro's been a big hit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
So there's one in
It's been wonderful.
Springfield.
They're great for little kids.
Hi.
No, you can't, but he said in temporary. Have it there.
My name is Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi. My address is 254 Southampton Road, New Carlisle. I worked at the New Carlisle pool from 16 until I graduated. In college, I came back and taught swim lessons every summer. Moved away for a little bit, and then eventually I moved back home. And now I volunteer my time. I have for the last 5 years I coach the Tecumseh swim team, but also the Mighty Duck swim team, which is at the New Carlisle. Not good at public speaking. But I had a lot to say. A lot of them already covered it. I'm not going to say it all again. We all know the importance for our children. I did want to ask some specific questions. Do we know the cost? I know you spoke about the structural repairs that need done in our pool, and I think you kind of passed it off for somebody else to speak. Do we know those prices? Do we have costs? Do we have numbers?
So I can tell you, basically on the structure of the pool in the bottom, there's no repairing it. We keep the seams cracked as if you've seen all those years. The guys are in there in April, May, doing those. That doesn't stop the leaks. The only way to fix that pool is to get that concrete out of there. Let's say we decide to put the pool back in there. Things would change a little bit, but we're not putting a number on fixing the concrete. It is what it is. We've had a couple pool companies in that I've met this year just on what do I need to look forward to whenever we had 2 years ago or a little less, we had an architect kind of give us some numbers. What are you looking at? And it was a $2-point-some million. The pool probably in square footage would not be similar to what it is today in how it's designed. There's a lot of wasted space. So they redesigned things to make it better. Like, so we have lane lines. It doesn't spread across the whole pool. You don't have empty space. You don't have where the deep end is. Things would be completely revamped. It could be a multi-use pool, but it really saves on how things work. But as far as what's going on there now, stainless and up hasn't been an issue. That was done in 1998, 92. Okay, done with some land conservation grant funds. So long story short, there's money tied to that land that the city will always have that land. Hence the gazebos through the ODNR Nature Works grant. It's always going to be tied to something. And they understand, when I've already talked to them, is they understand the pool's past its life expectancy tenfold. And when we say we've had engineers in, I've had engineers in that say, hey, I've done some concrete work, but typically we're not, fixing this permanently. They'll never give you that permanent. We looked at a liner. And they said, you know what, you can put a liner in it, but we'll warranty the liner, but if your concrete cuts our liner, they won't warranty it. And that was $120,000. So that was a lot on me to not put that liner in because we can't take that liability to fix it. So there's really no numbers on to repair. It's what's it gonna take to replace that pool, the new buildings, put everything inside, make it to where down the road, you don't have stuff on the exterior. You don't have it getting weathered. And that's been the biggest thing. We have had some numbers of about 2-point-something, to give us a broad number on what a pool might look like. But there's a lot of work going into, size. What do you want to do with it? Do you do concession? Do we take woods down and add parking lot? Do we take the skate park out of there? So there's a lot of things in this ever so evolving area to maybe revamp that. But that was a long story, but no, there's really no numbers on repairs just because we're doing bare minimum.
The repair term has been kind of thrown out there, but really that to dumb it down, that is not an option.
Correct.
Okay. And then, so the Parks and Rec Board will have a part in planning all of that if we are to build a new pool. Is that what their job would be?
They would
Yeah, not the.
make
not the-
recommendations
but-
to council, and then council makes the decision along with the administration.
Okay.
Because again, it all comes back to the finance director.
Okay.
And also doing events and stuff in the parks for.
Yes.
For everybody.
And I'm just kind of asking these questions just to make sure that I understand and I have the facts. And $50,000 was put into that board that has no members for things that they could do, but again, they have no members.
Right. You're right.
And so we need the 48, I think you're just throwing numbers out there, but to, instead, to open the gates, I think is the way that you said it.
No, that's just the average cost that we pull out of the general fund. So on top of, our cost and revenue, we have to pull 40,000 out of the general fund, which is like your savings account, to justify keeping the pool open. So on average, and there is, repairs that could still happen, that are, part of the concession stand and things of that nature. Like we have a leaky roof or something, it could cost more than that, but on average, about 40 grand.
Okay. And I understand pulling that out of savings, but it seems like we pulled that out of savings to put it into a board that is not currently active. Is
But
that?
it should be by,
But
by
it
the
should
end
be
of the
back on.
year.
But that money just
comes
sits
out.
there. If we don't have a board to use that money, although I believe the fireworks comes out of that money, but if we don't have a board to use that money, then it goes back into the general fund at the end of the year.
Okay. And if it does go back into the general fund, is it possible to use those funds for the pool?
I can only go so far because of the enterprise fund that the pool is constrained with. So unlike any other park, I have to prove to the auditors that we're being prudent with financing. We can get away with spending $40,000 out of our general fund to keep the pool going. But if I start having consistent, six-figure, I'd have to lean on Colleen. Like, it would raise some red flags with the state as to what's going on here. Because there is money transactions that happen at the pool. That's what separates it from everything else.
Ms. Harris?
I just wanted to clarify, the Parks and Rec Board, we put 8,000 in, and there's 22 in the fireworks, which is what we spent this year. So
Yeah.
combined, it's 30. If we don't use it, it's in the general fund, but that's allocated for the Parks and Rec is 8,000.
Okay, thank you.
And on top of that, the Parks Fund, which is under general fund, but it's what we do for this actual parks, not so much the events, put a new apparatus in, swings. There is 50,000 in there to do, there could be a new dog park. There could be adding on to working on my disc golf. There could be a new structure done. There could be replacement. That's the capital portion of it.
Okay.
But that clarifies the difference between the 50 and the other part.
Okay, and I think all of that is important as well. I was just kind of trying to clarify from my own knowledge. I do have one more question. I believe that you, correct me if I'm wrong, you said something about 190,000 in expenses in 2025?
Not this year, no.
He said 190.
How are you doing, Colleen?
It's 150,000.
What is it?
151,000. Which is more than, it's been the highest.
It is, yeah, I see that.
Was that for some repairs that we had to do that year?
It's everything.
Okay.
It's labor, it's repairs.
It looks like our labor,
Revenue was 108,000. So that's the 40,000 or it's almost 43,000 that the general fund had to supplement.
Low because the manager of the pool can do a very good job.
No, the revenue can be low if it rains all day, and you got a 3-month period to make revenue. It's hard to, I believe it was very busy.
I know that my sister-in-law never got a return call when she tried to book it for her Girl Scouts. So
Was that this year?
that's this year. They came the last 3 years, but they didn't come this year because they never got a return call.
I can tell you that this was the highest revenue year, except for 2021. And honestly, revenues, your concession sales, bookings, which bookings happen to be up this year, and then the hot summer. 2020 was our lowest, obviously, because nobody came, it was 66. But we actually had the second highest, let me see, 108, 293, second highest year in the 5 years as far as revenue. But the expenses also were the highest ever.
Did we have a huge adjustment in, like with, how much we pay the lifeguards, and was there a big jump in, because we had a $25,000 jump in labor. So I'm just wondering if they got paid significantly higher.
We increased the wages on everybody. They always get their jump above the concession stand workers, which are on minimum wage. We also bumped the pay up for the manager for 20 instead of 13, 14. Instead of 15, because we made a whole complete switch this year, bumped it up to try and attract. So there was a lot of that. And then, as everybody knows, through many, many, many years, there was a lot of donational help. And you're well aware of that. So it was, and I use this word again, disingenuous to now make someone get paid for all their work they're doing, hence the real expense, for the most part. So just to be honest, a previous manager did a lot on their own time without charging the city. Not at the direction of management, not at the direction of council, just because long-term resident wanted to do the thing the best to make it the most favorable and not lose money. And then, but you can't expect everybody to do that. So this was the year of that.
If we have someone who is willing to be the manager of the pool and volunteer at a time like that, is it a possibility to open the pool next year?
I think it's a council decision. I mean, ultimately, I hope, again, I don't mean this, turn into a civics lesson. I'm not your dictator in chief. I'm merely your humble city manager. These guys run on ideas. I find trends in their ideas, and then I execute those ideas into reality, into day-to-day operations. But these are your representatives.
Ma'am, are you volunteering to run the pool next year free of charge?
I have 3 young kids, but I'm willing to volunteer.
We would have to check with our legal to see if that's even legal to do, but make sure we get your name and number or the manager, and who knows what'll happen.
She was my assistant manager one year. She comes highly recommended.
Yeah, I heard that line before.
I'm going to cut this section off. I think we went long enough. We've still got some issues that need to be addressed. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Was there a consensus on a working session on this? How do you want to pin this up for?
Go ahead, Peg.
I move that we have a work session on the 28th dealing with the pool
Second.
and any
Sorry, ma'am.
suggestions that the citizens have on how we can get it opened next year.
Second.
You said the 28th.
Hold on one second.
It's next Tuesday,
If I
a week
can
from
interrupt,
tomorrow.
Trunk or treat at the high school. So there might be many people
On Tuesday?
that can't come.
Monday.
That's the ROTC trunk or treat that comes to high school. What are we doing? At our community. On
On the 28th?
Yes.
What about the 29th?
Yeah, about the 29th.
Wait, why can't we do it on Monday?
Why don't we just do it on Mondays, like we
Because
said?
I can't be here on Monday.
I won't be here the 29th, so.
Yeah,
I think the 29th is amazing.
maybe.
About the 30th
I can't do the
for council.
30th.
When can council
I
meet?
can't do 30th.
I have 3 moms due at the end of the month, so.
Question was, when can council meet?
I've got the 27th or the 28th open that.
What,
I can do the 27th or 28th.
I got 27.
27th
Okay.
or 28th, yes.
The 28th, and any day but the 27th.
how about November 5th?
Council.
Because it seems like the end of October, there's too many other activities going on that we can't work around. So would November 5th be good with council?
I've got November 5th open.
I'm good.
Can I also just note, as much as why this stuff is fresh and heavy, unless Ms. Harris guides me in a different direction, we have allocated the money into the pool for 2026, but we're freezing it, correct? We didn't throw that money back into the general fund.
We took out all the expenditures for wages, et cetera, and we just left in about 20,000 for the operating of maintaining it to keep open.
Could we put the money back and still freeze it with the notion that as of now, we're proposing to suspend the operations, but, so we can, I just don't want to delay our budget.
If council
Is there a way that we can
okay,
do that?
It'll change the numbers, because it's going to pull from the general fund. Okay.
But you know that the money isn't going to be spent unless we decide to open the pool. We're not going to use that money for anything else. Sorry, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
question for council. Does council want to reallocate money to reopen the pool until, in the budget, so the money's there, until after we have another meeting with the community for more ideas on how to fix the entire problem of the pool? If that makes any sense to council.
No.
Does council have any objections of reallocating the money back into the pool? As if we're going to open it?
I do. Where's it gonna go? Where are
Why?
we pulling it from?
Oh, that's her problem. That's, she has.
We don't, that's not appropriate.
How much money are you allocating putting back?
How much would normally be allocated, Mrs. Harris, for the pool in any given year?
So, just looking at last year, this current year, 150,000, we got 90 in the fund balance that we didn't use, so we would be looking at probably 60,000.
Do we have another 60,000 to fund that for 150 for next year?
And if I put in the estimated revenue
Right.
at 60,000, we could try to make it at a 0.
Okay,
for the budget.
right, for the budget. And then, and that still doesn't, just so the public understands, just because we allocate this money does not mean the pool will open. But the money is there in case we can get ideas from the Park and Recs Board, which has not been filled yet. I know I keep talking about it. Until we get recommendations from the Park and Rec Board to what to do with this and how to fund it for the future. So does council have any objections of adding the 150,000 back in? We have 90. She says we can do another 60 to get to the 150. Because she needs direction on what to do with our budget before it comes to us.
We could pool that money if the committee decides that they want to do that. We could always ask for the money and make her figure it out then. I don't know why we would want to do that
But our
now.
budget has to go to the county to be approved, and
Right.
we really don't want to have to redo the budget after the county's done approved it. They tend to
It
get
would just be a
irritated with
request
it.
from the general fund, correct?
No.
So we'll put the estimated revenue in as if we're going.
As if
over
we're
it
running
to
it.
cover the to cover the expenditures to bring it to zero.
But we cannot sell pool passes because if a XYZ breaks, we have a $150,000 bill that our budget has to pay. That's the problem.
You'd still be
So they're not going to
spending
have
probably about
revenue
50,000.
from passes, right? Correct?
We won't take revenue from passes unless the decision is to open the pool.
Okay.
They would have to buy those.
I don't
As it gets
imagine
close.
you start
Daily.
selling pool passes till what?
No,
Until
they
the
usually
decision's
sell
made, the
them
pool's
But
gonna open.
normally you do
I
it,
buy
what,
mine in
about
December.
April?
April, May, somewhere
Yeah,
along there.
no, you couldn't,
I buy them in December.
we couldn't sell them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know we did.
Well, we're trying to, if I can, we are trying to mediate right now. So, without, what we could do is we could try to expedite this process, and I need a Parks and Rec board, period. Like, we can have work session after work session, but I need a strategic team that's going to be willing to put in the effort, the volunteer hours, and regularly meet to come up with a plan. Now, I don't know what is our drop dead that we have to make a decision on. We need to know if we're opening the pool by X date. The pool passes and stuff, that's part of the strategic plan. If everybody wants this pool so bad and we're going to be at max capacity, it should be a free-for-all once we open up passes and everybody's going to be buying them.
From an opening up point where we have to do the maintenance, it's usually by March 1. We have to know by March 1 that my guys we can order parts, order materials, get everything ready, because some of that stuff takes 2 or 3 weeks. So then come April is when we start doing the maintenance on it, getting it ready. Because it takes us about 3 to 4 weeks to get the pool ready.
So what you're saying is, we could come back in November and meet and talk, but without this board, nothing's really gonna be done. So you need this Parks and Recs board put together, so that we could then put something together. But is council willing to stay the vote for right now to close this until we get this board together? And are you willing to hold the money so that we can make the decision by March 1?
I think what will have to happen, because I think we've already voted to close the pool for next year, what would have to happen, we'd have to rescind that vote.
We did not
Then I guess that's the question.
Did we not
Just a
vote on that?
consensus.
We did not officially.
You haven't voted on your budget yet.
No.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Lindsay, we haven't voted on the budget. I think you guys just did a consensus.
We did a
There
Right, we
wasn't
did a
motion.
consensus, I'm sorry.
So I guess that's the question.
Yeah.
Are you gonna close the pool or not? Or are you gonna give us a chance to make it work?
I'm good for a chance.
What is the deadline for the county?
For the budget.
Our budget's going to be introduced the second meeting in November to intro and then voted the 1st December. So I have to have those numbers stick by then. So we have time to make it effective for January 1.
Right now.
So if we were to have a meeting November 5, that would give you enough time.
Can we use the first meeting in November, since it's
Yeah.
a lighter meeting anyway, to do that at? because we don't have committee reports, we don't have any of
Good
that.
idea.
Just
Very good.
utilize
I like
our
it.
first,
Yeah.
just utilize our first meeting for that, and then that way there's enough time to get everything.
November 17th is the intro for the budget. And as law would probably state, once you put intro that, you're not going to want to make amendments after that. So November 17th, numbers will all want to be solid.
So my question back to council is, do you want to allocate the 150? She already has 90. Do you want to allocate another 60 for the budget? So when we vote on this stuff, it goes to the county. We don't have to go back and re-amend it. If we don't open the pool, the money just sits there for a year. If we do open the pool, we have the money already in place to do it. Pool passes can be sold, start selling March 1st if we decide to open the pool. 30 days should be plenty enough for the city to overrun the city offices to buy passes.
Are you
Or
gonna
buy them
wanna-
online.
Are you gonna wanna increase the price of the pool passes?
That's
We'd
another,
have to.
we'll have to, but that's another.
I mean, that's what we need to meet with the team. And we need to break down, because I mean, we're gonna need models and numbers, and I mean, we raised all concession sales last year, item by item. We went and did research of every concession. I was using Travel Ball as a measurement. Please, ma'am.
I just have one more thing to say. I just wanted to call out that there's like a lot of kids here, and I cannot imagine that this is how they wanted to spend their Monday night. So how great that all of these kids, a lot of them I've seen a swim team, how great that they came and sat and got a little government lesson, and they've all been so well behaved, and I just wanted to say
Thanks for coming, guys.
I'm fine with it.
So, getting back to Bill's question. Do you want to put that 150,000 in? Do you want to wait until that first meeting in November?
If you want to do that, I'll put it in the form of a motion. I just need a second. We'll vote on it.
Your motion is to put the 150,000.
Put the 150 back in the budget for the pool in case we decide to open the pool. If we don't, then it's just sitting there for a year.
Tied up for a year.
Well, we can move it if we don't open
Councilwoman Wright,
Whatever.
it. Because we have to
Yes.
vote on it.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yeah.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
Councilman Shammy.
Mr. Mayor, next question.
Go ahead.
Are we going to have the folks back? Are we going to have these folks back on the 20, oh, wait a minute, that's not.
November 5th.
Yeah, let me get to the calendar.
November 3rd,
3rd.
November 3rd meeting?
Right, November 3rd meeting instead of on the 5th. Does November 3rd work for y'all?
Is it November? Well,
Yes.
November the 3rd.
Is our first,
Regular meeting.
yes, but it's a light meeting, and we can dedicate most of it to the citizens.
You have a motion and a second?
If I could just quickly
Go
interject.
ahead.
Per our charter, we have to have a town hall. By the end of the year, you guys haven't had one
We can
yet.
make that our town hall.
Makes
I
good
think
sense.
we checked the box, but for the formality, if we could classify it as a town hall,
Right.
we could do it that way.
So, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that November 3rd, we have our town hall that we are required to by charter, and to discuss whatever the community wants to come in and talk about.
Councilwoman Wright,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yep.
Councilman Bond,
Yes.
and Councilman Shammy.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question real quick, please.
Go ahead, sir.
So you're still stating that they need to form a Parks and Rec board to get to that-
Absolutely.
to get to that decision by March 1st.
Absolutely.
I would suggest if you're a resident of the city, inside city limits, go on the website tonight, fill out the application, we'll have it emailed to me, my email's on there, and let's get that process started, because it could take 30 days to get that rolling, to establish those members, because they all have to be sworn in. You have to live within
Yes.
city limits to
Yes.
serve on the board.
Have to be a
But you-
city resident. And I think that gentleman in the green shirt that said he was a police officer and he looks like he's ex-military or military, I think he'd be an excellent candidate.
I was going to sign up, sir, but unfortunately, I live in town.
But that doesn't mean.
Oh, well, you can move. We got new houses up here.
For merger.
Mr. Lindsay, those board meetings are open to the public, and so anybody can come to those meetings. You just have to live in the city limits to serve on the board. Everybody is still welcome to come, voice your opinions. Fair game.
So how many hands are getting applications tonight off the internet when you get home?
Yay.
I don't think you're eligible yet, sir.
18 on up. We need at least 5. We need at least 5 in order to form a committee. How about 25,000?
We got 5.
We don't even have that many citizens.
I had to look up the common.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor. Go ahead, sir.
Moving right along, resolution.
Oh, before we get to the resolution, sir, we need to, some votes we need to take care of. So I'll make a motion to accept the finance report. Can we have it quiet, please?
We haven't done the city. That's not on here.
We haven't done the city.
We
We're
skipped it.
we're still in the city manager's report.
And I can offer the same thing. We can go through the typical reading the
Whatever
report
you
on the
wanna
paper,
do.
or do you guys have any questions about the departmental reports? And if you have questions, we can answer them now, or we can start, I just had a couple talking points and we can get into legislation. Okay. So no questions from departmental reports?
We just need the finance report, sir, on the finance.
yes.
The finance report and the mayor's financials. So we can get those.
So long as there's no questions, I just need a motion.
I made that motion. I think I had a second.
Apologies.
Councilwoman Wright,
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn,
Yes.
Councilman Shamey.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
I move to accept the mayor's court financial report.
Councilwoman Wright,
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Eggleston,
Yes.
Mayor Cook,
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove,
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn,
Yes.
Councilman Shamey.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for upcoming legislation, we have the budget coming up. So I think we just talked about that. And the other one is the New Carlisle Baseball Softball Association. I believe they do a 3-year lease, so that's up for renewal. So we'll be seeing that here in the coming weeks. We set our town hall meeting. That was one of my discussion points, so thanks for knocking that out. And then it's Halloween. So we had our Halloween night market this past Saturday. Fairly well-attended event, but I think some people were a little bit nervous about the weather. It ended up being a beautiful night. But I know they were supposed to have some blown-up spooky things and different stuff that they decided to air to because there was a cost and there were supposed to be high winds. But anyways, I really appreciate all the vendors and volunteers and members of the community that made that happen. Next, we're bringing something back, or maybe this has never been done before. I know we've done like Yard of the Month and things like that. But we're going to have a Halloween decorating contest for residential properties. So the details you can find on the New Carlisle website. But the key points are entries are due at 6 p.m. on October 23rd. The decorations need to be at the front or the side of the house. Probably the most important and the most subjective, it needs to be family friendly. So, try to keep that in mind as you're decorating your homes. And then probably the biggest part is there will be a cash prize of $100 to whoever is selected as the winner. And then along with that, we have Trick or Treat coming up this Saturday. If anybody follows Facebook, this seems to be a series of, we don't do Halloween on, October 31st unless it is a Saturday. So our Halloween is the last Saturday of the month. A lot of that has to do with having working parents and everything else that makes it so difficult through the week. So 6 to 8 p.m. Throughout the streets of New Carlisle. I believe we may have some fire guys driving around.
The apparatus will be out and about passing out candy. And for some reason, I don't know why, but all the kids were thrilled that last year we had a bag of potatoes and the kids went nuts.
what?
A bag of potatoes. The kids were thrilled that they got a potato in their bag.
They were raw. They were raw.
Why, I don't know, but the crews will be out. And also, I think the deputies.
They're all hobbits, what can you say?
Yeah, right.
And without any questions, sir, that is the city manager's report.
Okay, I guess now we go to the resolution.
All righty. Resolutions, one introduction, one action tonight. Resolution 2025-13R, introduction, public hearing, and action tonight. A resolution authorizing the renewal of the city's property and liability insurance to the Public Entities Pool of Ohio.
So moved. Second?
In a summary of this legislation, and for folks in the public, our insurance costs did go up this year. This is an annual renewal. This covers all of our vehicles, our our personnel, along with our property. But because of the appraisals of our properties and vehicles and things like that, there was an increase. But this is our annual renewal. We feel it's a fair market value for what we're receiving.
What is the annual cost this year, sir, for the public?
Finance. Do you know it?
Yeah, it's $110,536.
Thank you.
And that is up from $79,781 last year.
Wow. Big jump.
Question. In the event that that gun thing passes, was that money or was that coverage talked about during the renewal process?
I believe we've already discussed it with our insurance representatives, but it is somewhat, I think that's where you guys, before I was long here, where you guys got some soft numbers of what
Right,
the
I was just
increase-
wondering if they'd been hardened
So
or
it's
not.
just pending.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your question? I was talking.
Well,
while you were talking.
if we had, if they went ahead and covered it, or if not, so if not, then we have to make room for that
Yes,
money
ma'am.
too. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure I'm on the same page.
All right. Vice Mayor Eggleston?
Yes.
Mayor Cook?
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove?
Yes.
Councilman Bond?
Yes.
Councilman Shammy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wright?
Yes.
And Councilman Lindsay?
Yes.
All right. Ordinances, one introduction, zero action tonight. Ordinance 2025-43, introduction tonight, public hearing and action on 11/3/25. An ordinance amending Chapter 1066 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of New Carlisle, Ohio, for the purpose of adding fees and operating procedures for the columbarium. In other business, trick or treat is Saturday night, October 25th from 6 to 8, and now open for any other city-related business.
Is there anything else?
No.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, I know I asked for the animals to be in the columbarium, and we're not doing that, and that's okay. That's okay. But I do want a burial plot for the animals, because there are a lot of people that love their animals dearly, and they would like a little pet cemetery. If we could set aside a small area for those unique individuals that would like that, I just think it's something we could do for them, and the city could benefit by it, so.
I believe that the law director will probably have to look at the cemetery regulations.
We did during the columbarium thing.
Did you? Oh, you didn't tell me what you found. What'd you find?
There's a whole different chapter that addresses pet cemeteries and the revised code, so you'd have to follow that chapter, but it's a separate cemetery. It's not a combined human and pet cemetery. So there would have to be space specifically set aside for an independent pet cemetery.
And we don't have a little chunk of land somewhere that might work for that?
The only thing I could potentially see is the 5 acres we purchased about 10 years ago behind R.D. Holder. Was for potential human is do a lot split and split off a piece potentially. That's the only place I think we have that would be eligible for cemetery.
Might be interesting. I think maybe we could look into it. I know you're a busy man, but still, it is a worthwhile endeavor possibly.
But I can tell you in the columbarium, it was a hard no-go.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of figured it would be. But yeah, that's fine. That's all.
Okay.
Go ahead, Chief.
First off, the division would like to thank council and the citizens that all came out and participated in our open house this past weekend. It was well received. I think a lot of people learned a little bit of what we do and how we do it. And again, thank the council for their, not only their support, but also their financial support into it. And one other thing, some of you may know, right now we have one of our firefighters who is also the firefighter of the year. Kevin Stevens is still in the hospital, critically ill. There is a GoFundMe page for him on our site. Please visit it. He's a young 30s man with a family and small children, and he needs our help.
Are we still doing the,
Yes. We're following up with the person producing the awards tomorrow. So I was hoping that we'd have them by now.
anything else from council? If not, may I have a motion for
Second.
adjournment?
Vice Mayor Eggleston.
Yes.
Mayor Cook.
Yes.
Councilwoman Grove.
Yes.
Councilman Bond. Councilman Shammy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wright.
Yes.
Councilman Lindsay.
Yes.
We are adjourned.